Immortals of Aveum is finally released, and so far for me, this game is all sorts of fun. I remember seeing it first in the Summer Game Fest and being initially intrigued as it's a first-person action game but doesn't have any guns, and it's all based around magic. I was intrigued immediately and hopeful of this release, but I was still a little cautious as the other two FPS games that I've played this year that were made by AAA studios, they have been more disappointing. First, I played Redfall, which was just atrocious all across the board. Not really many positive talking points about that game. I don't know what happened with Arcane, but they really just crapped the bed with that one. And then there was Atomic Heart, which was a little bit more tedious and a lot harder than it needed to be in some areas, but had a strong story and even had some DLC recently released. But with Immortals of Aveum, third time's the charm, right? Let's talk about my initial thoughts on the game, and I'll tell you everything to know before buying it, and then you can determine if you want to spend the $70 price tag on this game. Make sure you like and subscribe as it helps out the channel a lot if you like seeing these type of videos, and let's get into it. First and foremost, big thank you to EA for giving me a code to this game early to make content on it, just a tad early and play and review it and all of that. Really, it means a lot. But in Immortals of Aveum, you play as Jack, and in the beginning of the game, you're learning Jack's backstory. As you know, these type of games go. You got to learn some backstory on these characters and how he came to be. The first couple chapters is really just learning about him, seeing the tragedy that happened in his life, and then learning of Jack's powers. And then it's just a bunch of training and, you know, the tutorial, really. It's nothing too crazy in the first couple hours. But I will say the tutorial teaches you a wide variety of moves that all feel quite fluent so far, surprisingly to me. You have your main magic that has 3 different colors with red, green, and blue. Blue magic is more so of like a sniper or long range attack, while the red is a short range, like a shotgun really, and green's like a machine gun, fast-paced shooting magic. None of these have bullets, they're all magic, but that's really the best way to describe them. You can also swap between the magic freely, and the game has some decent movement for what it is. It has a sprint that's not really too crazy. You have a double jump, and then you also have a dash. Later on in the game, you are able to get a float, which allows you to double jump and then just float around for a small amount of time. That's pretty fun, but that's later on in the game, like chapter 5 or something. And then you have other fun attacks that you get throughout the game, like a whip that allows you to pull enemies closer to you. I had some fun pulling some enemies off a cliff. And then you also have mana-based attacks. And you also have this fun little item that slows down time on enemies and objects. Really, Immortals of Aveum, it teaches you a lot of stuff early on in the game, and a lot of fun mechanics that all feel really good to use. After the couple hour window in the tutorial, the game fast forwards 5 years and skips into the future. And then it throws crafting and leveling up at you. You can pick up small gear like rings and braces to improve your stats like damage, armor, that kind of stuff. And you can even upgrade them with game currencies like red, blue, and green essence and gold that you pick up throughout the entire game from dead enemies or from crates that you open up. The upgrade system is honestly really simple, I feel like. I'm usually getting a little convoluted with these upgrade systems and skill trees and whatnot, but this upgrade system is simple and straight to the point. You use a couple currencies and that's it. And some of the items can even be upgraded multiple times. And you can even equip different magic gloves, which is what I guess I will call them, which will change the stats of your magic attacks, like different fire rate, different amounts of damage. Now, let's talk about the leveling up quickly. Killing enemies gains you a small amount of ascension, and once your ascension bar reaches its max, it'll reset back down to 0, and you can level up. The game has 3 different skill trees, all that go in green, red, and blue magic. All of them have direct buffs that affect all the spells, but the different colors correlate what magic they will benefit more. And really, the armor, the crafting, the leveling up, all that type of stuff, it kind of took me by surprise. I wasn't really expecting that when playing through the game. A few hours in, it throws all this new stuff at you, and it really expands on how much this game has to offer. But I will say, this game is very linear. There's always a checkpoint on the screen telling you where to go next, which I guess could be a little annoying here and there, but you're not going to get lost in this game. Every once in a while, you'll see maybe like a God of War inspired puzzle that you have to do, and you might be able to skip it if you want to. Those puzzles are a little interesting. They could be a little hard, a little brain teaser for you, but the game is very linear and very hard to get lost in. There's not really any open worldness to it. And then one last thing you can find after the tutorial is these challenge rooms called Shroud Fanes. You see them throughout the game, and I'll be honest, I don't really know how to unlock them. I've only been able to do one, and I don't know how I unlocked it. But if you do unlock them, I highly suggest doing all these challenge rooms, as if you beat them, you get a really nice reward. The one challenge room I was able to beat, it gave me a buff to my total HP, so that was really nice with how hard it was. It wasn't really that hard, that's the thing. But I'm not 100% sure how to unlock these yet, but if you see them, I would say do them. And overall, that's a quick review / overview of Immortals of Aveum. I'm only 4 hours in so far, but I could easily justify the price tag in my opinion. Compared to the other first-person shooter games that I've played this year, this beats them by a landslide. Not Game of the Year material, definitely not that, but definitely like a top 10 game of the year for me personally. And maybe I'll make a full review once I'm fully done with it. Maybe I'll get all the achievements. I don't know. I say that about every game, but really, this game is really fun so far. I'm afraid it might be a little short, as I think the game has like 15 chapters total, and I'm already on chapter 6, 4 hours in. But I feel like it'd probably take 10 to 15 hours to beat, which is not bad for $70. I think that's worth it. Maybe replay it again if you're a completionist, but I feel like the chapters also will get longer. The graphics are great also on my PC. I'm running everything on low settings because my PC is almost 4 years old. It's a little outdated. So I'm happy that this game can actually run on my PC very well and record the footage. So that's a nice little bonus. Not really any bugs that I've noticed. I hope the game continues to pace this well and perform as well as it has for me later on in the game. But yeah, overall, it's a great time so far, and I'd highly suggest picking up. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions on the game or if you plan on picking it up. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. An extra special shout out to the people that support me on Patreon still, helping making this content creation dream a reality. That extra support really means a lot, and if you want to support on Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/whatever, it's in the description. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.